interesting. Well, if you look at Give, Send, Go and their ethos, it's a Christian brother and sister that started it. So you can imagine that they were very different to deal with at a minimum. And it was very clear that things were not going very well with GoFundMe. And so people in the background were already talking to Give, Send, Go. So the moment that they said they're out, Chris Barber did a video that went viral again. And it's like, don't panic, everyone. We have a new one, and just donate here. Everything's going to be okay. Because it was always, what I found with what was going on in Ottawa, it was literally every time the government or the police authorities could have taken a step, they took the wrong step. It was always a misstep. And then as a result, and this is why it was so successful, Canadians came together and found a way. And that was unity. And that, I can't remember how you said it before, but it gave you hope. That was the first time, but it was really just unity for the first time in so long, that Canadians of all different backgrounds, colors, beliefs came together as one. And that was the power of the Freedom Convoy. And that's why government officials did not like it. So with Give, Send, Go, it was a very different relationship. And, gosh, we could talk about this literally for hours, but, there were a lot of different people that, wanted to be seen and be heard. And again, I was in the background the whole time, very close to the action, but not at all interested in taking the spotlight. And so there were lots of people connecting with Give, Send, Go. In the end, it was Tamara who, solidified that relationship. And just, it was crazy because, like you said, two people that had donated the first time, some people were like, we're going to donate 2 or 3 times the amount now this time. And just going to you said your name was released and many people, and I've seen the full donation. I'm sure it was Give, Send, Go. And one thing that just shocked and surprised me was page after page after page after page of $5 donations.
Yeah.
$10 donations. I thought, there'd be like tons of 10 grand or 20 grand, because this is a huge amount of money we're talking about. No, it was just pages of small donations. And it was so overwhelming to go through those pages one after another. Yeah. So it really was people like you. You said that's how you started it. It was just regular people.
Yeah, if I could have, I would have gotten my car and drove to Ottawa myself. I actually felt, I felt a bit of guilt for just giving money, and it was actually the Convoy that I had started picking up writing again, but the Convoy really lit a fire underneath me. And just being in Vancouver at the time, which is, BC is it's all liberal, or it was at least. It's even then, it still felt like there was a huge weight lifted off of our shoulders. People were walking around saying hi to each other again. You could see the light returning in people's eyes, right? And it was nice. Like, it was just, it felt like we were finally having our say. Like, we had been told to follow the arrows, take the vaccine, wear the mask, stand 6 feet apart for what over a year. And it was just, we were finally getting our voice, and the Convoy represented that. And even more so, Chris Barber and Tamara Leach, I felt that they were perfect representatives for this, because these are blue collar people. These aren't, lawyers, right? These aren't people. These are just blue collar people who started to drive east, and people just gravitated toward it. And, I remember, as the Convoy was leaving BC, seeing videos from people on social media, even when it was just starting, and people standing on overpasses on the side of the highways, holding signs. It was like, yeah, man, we're going to do this, and I think that was really what motivated a lot of people to contribute, was the resolve. Like, we are going to do this. We're going to go to Ottawa, and we're going to make him talk to us. And if he won't talk to us, we're just going to stay put. And I didn't expect much from Trudeau in that scenario. But I definitely didn't think he would pretend to have COVID and run away.
Or disparage people the way he did.
Oh, I know. And it was like, you were right. Everything that they did was the opposite of what they should have done. It was like they were pouring gasoline on a fire to put the fire out,
Yeah.
like I wrote this piece, and it was actually originally going to be an essay on my Substack, but he had a perfect opportunity, right? Like he could have stood on the steps of Parliament. He loves his photo ops. He could have had his hair done, shoes polished, standing on the steps of Parliament as those trucks rolled in. He could have walked out, been a man of the people, shaken a couple hands, said, please arrange a delegation, meet me inside, we'll be waiting. That would have been it. That would have been it. Even people like me would have had to have said, you know what? This guy is a real leader. This guy, he's going to sit down with these people, talk to them, and look, you're a lawyer, this. These blue collar people, they're not going to sit in a room with these guys and understand the language that these lawyers are spinning around them. He could have had a team of lawyers just wrap these people up until the point where they didn't even know what was going on anymore. I mean, by that point, he knew the vaccine mandates were on their way out, right? So really, he could have just negotiated some sort of terms, and then give a rousing speech on the steps of Parliament when it's over. We've heard the voice of the Canadian people. We're working out some new terms for these mandates. We understand the plight of the people and what people have gone through. My God, he would have been a hero. He would have been a national hero, an international hero, right? But he didn't do that. And from point A all the way through to Z, it's like I was baffled by the way that they reacted to everything.